Sports. I'm here with Reem and Theo. How you guys doing this week?
Doing good.
So far, so good.
Yeah, so we had a good week in sports. Some stuff's new, some stuff, is still lingering. But you know what? The first thing I want to talk about is last night's Fury Wilder fight. So, was there any surprises there? Anybody surprised at the outcome of that fight?
I'm not surprised by the outcome, but I'm surprised that it was actually somewhat competitive this time. I think Fury was kind of dominating them points wise, but Wilder with the two knockdowns that made it interesting. But I'm not surprised by the outcome.
Yeah, I agree with Reem. I'm not surprised. I'm glad it was a good fight, though. It was an entertaining fight. A lot of people enjoyed the fight. A lot of celebrities and athletes enjoyed the fight. Um, I think the tide turned the fight when Wilder got dropped in the third round, second round, third round. I think the third round. And you see in the corner, he was kind of like dejected a little bit. I could see in his face. He was kind of like disappointed in himself that he got caught and got dropped. And I said, listen, that's not a good sign, man. I mean, he's fighting pretty well. He's probably leading up to that knockdown, pretty much, though. But I could tell in that corner when he got dropped first, you see kind of dejected in that corner. And I like that about him. The entering the fourth round, he came back and he caught first. He dropped first twice, was very good. So you figure he was on the road. Maybe he got his stamina back up and back together. And maybe we'll finish off third. But once Fury lasted round 5 and 6, I said, listen, he's in trouble. So a guy like Fury, we dropped him 2 times. You got to get him out of there within the next 2 rounds, man. If not, he's going to regroup. And, you know what I'm saying? He regroup and come back and stronger, though. And that's what happened during that fight. A very good fight, though, for sure. I enjoyed the fight, though. But I'm not surprised what happened to Wilder.
Yeah, I was again not surprised. I think, like you said, for the first 2 rounds, I mean, he looked pretty game there. Like I'm like, okay, Wilder, jabbing to the body, moving around, not swinging all wildly. Then he got dropped and it went out the window. One thing that's always interesting about Wilder is I don't understand his conditioning. Like, don't get me wrong, people get hit, and I'm sure that saps strings out. But he always seemed like, even after those 2 rounds or the third round, after he got knocked down, you would have thought that this guy had fought 12 rounds already.
Right.
He seemed exhausted.
I wonder how much of that has something to do with Fury weighing, almost 300 pounds or whatever it is. I'm sure that. Plus, didn't he come out with granted, it wasn't the same, but didn't he come out with like another face mask on again?
Yeah.
It's like, man, stay away from those face masks.
Yeah.
At least this time, he didn't seem to use that as any excuse.
Yeah. I mean, I thought he would be better than what he was. He was better from an entertainment standpoint. People entertained. It lasted a good amount of time. And Wilder was game. But the outcome was the same or something. It really wasn't like anything different than the last. It just took a little longer or something. And Wilder looked like he at least had more effort. So that was the same.
Right.
Yeah, because the last fight wasn't Fury trying to lick blood off of his neck or something. At least he was competitive enough to not go out that way again.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm sorry if I want to add before I go back to Kenyatta real quick. During the fight, I mean, the first 2 rounds he looked good, like Kenyatta was saying. He was jabbing to the body, But one thing I always learned following the sport, you are what you are. and you trying to learn how to box after 30, 40 fights is a telling sign. So when you fight a guy who's on your level, or maybe even better than you, and I guess he's getting the best of you, so to speak, you're going to revert back to what you know, what you are, which is a haymaker kind of a boxer, which is Wilder is, and you can see right as the fight went on, he's not really a boxer at all. He's just a guy who's athletic with power. He had no defense. He was I mean, I think he should went and try to work on his defense.
Yeah.
More than anything else, how to cover up and how to move his head and weave and wob. How to hold when you hurt. But I guess, but he didn't work on that though. I mean, he's trying to work on his jab. I said, your problem is defense. I mean, all kind of defense, man. For covering up, moving your head, you should work on that. It's also too one out too for you guys to go respond. He went a lot of fights, not fighting guys his height or his
Yeah,
size.
yeah,
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 that's
You
true.
know what I'm saying? Right. So, it reminded me of Roy Jones a little bit too. Roy Jones spent a good period of time fighting sanitation workers and librarians. Yeah, he beat James Toney, early in their career, and Brandon Hawker early in their career, but he's got to go 20 years not getting a rematch.
hmm
It tells. And all of a sudden, you get caught by Tarver, knock you out, and all of a sudden, they throw you in the fire for the next five fight. You get rematches against Tarver, you got to fight Bernard again.
yeah.
So it shows after a while that, you try to have competitive fights in between, what I'm saying, garbage can fights, so to speak.
So
And that's
Wilder,
the thing that scares me about Wilder is once Jones got that knockout, he was never the same.
no,
So now Wilder losing these last two fights to or three really, he probably lost
Right.
that first one too,
You
right? So
sure,
losing
you
the
sure
last
did.
three, because I don't even know about the decision there on that first one, but losing these last two by knockout, where does he go? Does he retire? Is he done?
I'll tell you this. I think he's lucky. I think last night, if he would have put forth a good showing, nobody would watch his fights again. He might be fighting on Tuesday nights at the fights because he put forth a good showing. People still show him a little bit of love. He still got some knockout power. He's entertaining. So he'll probably I wouldn't be surprised if he gets a chance to fight the loser out of Joshua and the other guy because Fury's gonna fight the winner. So and plus
Yeah.
people still pay to see Wilder versus Joshua.
Yeah, we were just saying that off air. We were just saying that too. At least for me, anyway. I still want to see that fight happen.
Yeah. So it's one of those things where, but I will tell you this: he's one loss away. Yeah, he's one loss away from that's basically gonna be it because people don't want to see a guy that they know gonna tire out and he's gonna get tapped on the chin and he's going down. And it seems to me like once you start getting like you were talking about, once you start getting knocked out, it only gets easier. So,
Mm,
Yeah.
yeah, if it takes a guy four punches for the last three fights, he's supposed to get knocked out in two next fight.
right.
So and Fury, he's big, but he's big. His punches are hard because he's big, not because he's necessarily doing it from strength. Some of these other guys are legitimately strong.
Correct.
So yeah, that could be a bad situation for him.
Now
Well,
for Fury though, who do you think he fights next? You say you think he fights the winner of
yeah,
Joshua and Usyk?
yeah, I would think so. I think well, he's definitely not fighting Wilder, but I would think that in his mind he would hope that Joshua won because I think that's a bigger payday. I don't know how much Granted, everybody would watch it, like especially boxing purists, to see Fury and Usyk. It'd be a good fight to see. But I don't know how many like pay-per-view sales they could get, on that or how attractive that is for people to see. So I'm pretty much sure like the powers that be will prefer that Joshua beat Usyk, but it might actually be a situation where let's say you have Fury and Usyk and Joshua and Wilder, you might get more pay-per-view sales off of Joshua and Wilder than Usyk and Fury.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah, I agree with you on that.
Yeah, so it's interesting, but it's one of those situations. Good for boxing to see Fury and Usyk. Bad for bad for the governing bodies and stuff like that. I don't think it's a lot of money in that fight.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Agree.
Yeah, agreed.
yeah. Well, speaking of money, we got Kyrie Irving and Ben Simmons continuing their quest or something. I mean, this week, from what I heard, well, Kyrie Irving, he seems to have a lot of like lives left in him. Where somehow or other, I think he's able to practice now or something in Brooklyn. I don't know how they worked
Yeah,
that one out. Yeah,
yeah. I think Brooklyn site was deemed a private facility, so it's not a public facility. Meaning, I guess it won't be loaded up with fans or whatever the case may be. So he can practice, but still doesn't fix the the playing home games problem he has. Plus, he'll also have issues, I guess, when he travels to play like Golden State and stuff like that too, right? So
uh,
he'll miss at the very least at this rate he'll miss the 41 home games and maybe a couple of road games too, just based on his vaccination status.
Yeah, we cleaned it up real good. It comes down to is he going to be a net or is he not going to be a net? Let's get down to nitty gritty, man. Because eventually, Kitty gonna be upset about this because Kitty didn't come here for this. He came in with a chip. You know what I'm saying? He got James Harden with him too as well. I mean, eventually, like Kitty, I can see him getting tired of this. I mean, he went through this with Russell. Not the same thing, but I guess him and Russ had similar, conflicts too as well. Like OKC though, but Katie's here to win a chip. He ain't here for the side show where Kyrie is right now.
No,
Plus, do Kyrie have any trade value? To tell you the truth, does he?
it's
I
it's
don't think
tough.
so.
No,
Talent wise, obviously, but his vaccination status combined with his just overall unpredictability, you don't know what he's going to do.
Right.
they also added LA added it too, so he couldn't play against the Lakers or Clippers either. So
Yeah. So in Golden State, right? So
yeah, so the crazy part is with Kyrie is that I wouldn't be surprised if Kyrie this is another one of Kyrie's things. Well, I don't know how much he planned on playing in the preseason, but Kyrie's the type of person that the season starts like next week or a couple of days afterwards. That if the season starts on the 16th, we'll hear something miraculously on the 14th at midnight that Kyrie got the shot.
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah,
I
because
see
they
that.
have to get at least one shot in order to play.
Yeah, and I mean, although to his credit, I mean, again, he is like Theo said, the guy is erratic with his behavior and everything else. To his credit, I see it at least him standing kind of like on his values or something for the fact that he could give up. He already gave up 300, I think 380,000 already or something like that. Now, on the flip side, when you look at Ben Simmons, I don't think he really thought that Philly was serious. So Philly fined him 360,000 the first game, and they already went and tried to file a grievance with the union. I think he thought he was going to call Philly's bluff. So I've even heard rumors of him possibly going back, not necessarily just you doing the usual. Let me show up because I don't want to lose the money type of deal. So
Yeah,
I
the
don't know.
Marshawn Lynch, right? I'm just here so I don't get fined.
Hmm.
Didn't Harden do the same thing with the Rockets, James Harden?
Yep.
Pretty much, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Went out
Yeah.
there, was completely disengaged. So now you want to hurry up and get him out of there because he's certainly not vested in helping you win games.
Correct. Right.
So, but it's at that point, it's obvious he's just playing for the check. A nice swap would be, I would say, Kyrie and Simmons. Just let him swap. That being said, Kyrie with the unpredictability again, the rumors is that he may retire if he gets traded. So that's scaring teams off even more. you know.
I heard that Philly has a deal. I got a feeling well the offers are not there, but they might have to take this one like the offer of possibly Brogdon, Karis LeVert, and a first round pick. I mean, I think that
Yeah,
might be the best they're gonna get out of this at this point. Yeah,
agreed. Yeah,
I mean, all that tells you is that Indiana they just looking for anything because at the end of the day, I don't know how well Ben Simmons messes with Sabonis, how he messes
Turner.
with Turner, T.J. Warren. Like, are they really going to put Ben Simmons at the point? So it seems like almost like a spectacle, a grab to me or something. You know what? He's got a big name. He's a possible star. We can use him because I definitely don't see him going there being better than Sabonis.
Then
So
they just drafted Duarte too, right? Another wing. So
yeah,
the last thing Indiana, in my opinion, needs is another wing. you know, even though I
Mm.
guess they would use them at the point. I don't think they need a point. But like you
no,
said, I think they're probably just looking for a name.
yeah. I got an interesting spin on this too. What the hell is wrong with Malcolm Brogdon? Because remember, Malcolm Brogdon won Rookie of the Year and then got traded off of Milwaukee. He's Indiana. He's playing well. They go out and draft the Holiday kid or whatever, and then they looking to trade him from here. Is there something wrong with Malcolm Brogdon?
I think when Milwaukee they're just being cheap basically,
Yeah,
and they kind of lucked up getting Drew Holiday to replace him.
yeah.
So that's what happened with that. Brogdon's like Andre Miller who could score. He's kind of like a, I don't want to say a boring point guard, but I don't know what it is. I like Brogdon a lot. He comes to New York. I mean, if we got Kemba Walker, I would love to have Brogdon in New York. But some guys, I guess, they game. You're not too impressed because I guess they have like a Tim Duncan point guards. Like that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So that's what it is, man, basically. But I don't have no reason why I didn't want to trade him for. I wouldn't want to trade him. It's hard to find a good point guard these days who could facilitate, get guys involved, and who could score too as well.
Yeah, I think his game is just not flashy. Like
Right.
Yeah, his game is not flashy. He puts up numbers, but it doesn't look good. He doesn't have the name. Ben Simmons doesn't put up the numbers, but he has the name.
Yeah. So this looks like a ticket sale grab.
Basically.
Yeah, you trade those guys. You bring a guy in they could put on the front of the banner, in front of the arena, get some people in there because they play well, but all of their stars are boring. Like Sabonis is not exactly the most exciting looking. Brogdon, nobody's getting excited over going to see Miles Turner.
Right.
So yeah, bringing in Ben Simmons would probably be something good for them from a ticket standpoint. So yeah, I get that one. So we got another strange situation. The NFL Iron Man Russell Wilson is out for 6 to 8 weeks, and we got the best thing: bring on Geno. So, do we think the Seahawks got a chance of making the playoffs now that we bringing on Geno?
Nah, I think they're done. I think their season is over. I like Geno though, but I think their season is over.
Well, Seattle was going to struggle making a playoffs with Russell Wilson anyway. How the team is structured right now. Maybe Pete Carroll will finally appreciate Russell Wilson for what he is, man.
That's true. Yeah.
You trying to trade this guy for what reason? I don't understand. I really don't get that. So my question to you guys is that if you're a Jet fan, you should be ecstatic, man.
Yeah.
You get those draft picks, some high draft picks, because I don't see those guys winning no game no time soon. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, they might be one in the next. How long is he going? 4 to 6 weeks?
I think 6
to 8. Yeah.
6 to 8. So depending on that schedule, question is tough. They're in a tough division already with the Cardinals and the other team. I can't name right now. Yeah, wins gonna be tough to come by, man, without Russell Wilson. So if you're a Jet fan of those high draft picks, looking real good right now.
Plus, if I'm Russell Wilson, there's no way I'm rushing back, right?
No.
You lose a bunch of those games, right? As the Seahawks, what am I rushing back for?
Yeah.
More than likely, my season's going to be over by the time I return. He may sit out the season. If it looks that bad by the time he's scheduled to come back.
And I was watching the game he got hurt, and they were talking about. Remember, he made the statement about he would be willing to go to these teams if he left.
Mm-hmm.
They were like, at the end of the season, he was still getting even in that game, he was getting leveled. So they were like, he probably would have revisited that stance at the end of the season anyway. So if I'm hurt and I'm getting clobbered up, I am going to sit out. I got an interesting Jets question around this. So, who was the best quarterback in the Jets organization in the last 8 years? And I would have to say, believe it or not, I think Geno was better than Darnold and better than Wilson. On the field, forget about where they got drafted and what we think about, the position and what the talent looks like. But as far as producing on the field, who's been the better quarterback?
I think the jury is still out on Wilson.
Yeah.
I think he still has a ton of upside, even though sometimes he's trusting his arm a bit too much. I'd like to see him check it down, throw some screen passes or something like that occasionally, instead of trying to hit a home run every pass.
Right.
But yeah, so far, I would say Geno, but I think Wilson has a ton of upside. Donald, I would say Geno was better than him for us. But in the last 10 years, how long ago was Chad Pennington? And he wasn't that great, but he was at least somebody that was. And even what's the other guy who's a journeyman? Fitz.
Yeah. Well,
right?
You know what?
He might have been the best.
I think he might have been the best in the last 10
Yeah,
years.
as crazy as it may sound, he was a journeyman.
Mm-hmm.
He was probably our best quarterback in the last 10
And,
years.
and he can't even beat out a guy that we don't even know his name. A guy that was like, what was he, a teacher before last year or something? Like the
Yeah,
Washington football team. He was
yeah,
working
Heineke.
on his masters to be a school teacher.
Yeah, Heineke. I think his name was Heineke.
Yeah, Heineke. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
Fitz can't beat him out, and that's the guy we say is the best quarterback we had the last 10 years. So that'll tell you about the Jets record right there.
Mm-hmm. Listen. I'm taking Fitz over Geno any day.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Chad Pennington was a good quarterback. He
Yeah,
just had an arm. He had no arm strength, but he could read the defense, and he
Yeah.
could throw the ball to the right read. But he can't throw the ball more than 20 yards.
next thing about it,
Literally, yeah. So
without,
that was his problem.
without torturing ourselves, we could go even further back to guys who were mediocre, to Mark Sanchez. And I think the last guy that they had, this sounds crazy, the last two guys that they had that could actually throw the ball that actually was Brett Favre and Vinny Testaverde. That's how far it
Mm-hmm.
goes back to the Jets. The last
Mm-hmm.
two quarterbacks you can see that could actually do something on the field. The rest of these guys, Wilson, the jury's still out because of small sample size, but I don't think anybody's beating down the door for any of those guys
The
at all.
crazy thing is
Right.
who's the last person that we had that was like worth throwing the ball to?
Al too? Nah.
Mm-hmm.
Braylon Edwards? You know, I mean,
How long we talking about?
who's
I
the
think they.
last
Oh no, no,
receivers
no.
we had?
Antonio Holmes, maybe. Yeah, maybe
Could
him.
be Turner Holmes. I would say recently
Um.
I'll Turner Holmes, but I'll say Winker Bet.
Keyshawn,
Keyshawn Winker Bet. Those two guys was nice, man,
Keyshawn,
together.
Yeah,
and maybe Santana Moss.
Santana Moss, right?
yeah,
And
I liked him.
look
Yeah,
how long we talking about though.
Yeah,
I mean,
agreed.
I think Corey Davis is all right, but yeah, the Jets historically, this is like historically bad. Like how
Mm-hmm.
people have traditions, they have a tradition of being bad. At least, like you said, this Russell Wilson thing may help them go out and get high draft picks to draft the wrong players.
Right.
Hey, so I think we brought it up earlier in the Ben Simmons thing. It looks like Los Angeles adopted the same protocols as New York and San Francisco as far as the COVID protocols with people being indoors. So I know that they don't like, as it should be. Nobody should ever have to necessarily disclose how what they're doing. But LeBron had already said that he did it. He did some research, and him and his family had got vaccinated. And then, interestingly enough, part of the story is that Los Angeles Institute, but another part of the story is Enos Cantor coming out saying that he felt that LeBron James was irresponsible for not toting people to get the vaccine. I mean, what do you guys think about LA adopting a rule and about Enos Cantor's statement?
yeah. I don't know. I agree with LeBron saying, he basically did his own thing, right? What he felt comfortable doing, and he doesn't have to advocate for other players, other people to do it. Everybody makes up their own mind and what they think is best for them. I get Cantor's position in terms of like LeBron is probably still considered the face of the league, I would say. So I get Cantor's viewpoint there, but I don't think LeBron should be obligated to try to convince people to get vaccinated.
Why can't they say LeBron and Draymond Green?
Yeah,
Draymond Green it didn't go out there in press conference and talk bad about Andrew Wiggins not getting tested
that's
before he
true.
did.
Yeah,
Why isolate LeBron? See, this is personal between LeBron and Ken. These guys get along at all for many years now. But LeBron shouldn't have the responsibility to advocate, saying supporting or have these guys get vaccinated. That ain't his job. It's the league's job. Plain and simple, man.
yeah. I think LeBron. Yeah, LeBron again. It's a personal decision. And Enos Cantor, I'm laughing because out of all the people to say something, why Enos Cantor? Like he's a
Right.
not anybody even cares about his opinion.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And he kind of went out of his way. He's in an interview, and it wasn't like they asked you, "What do you think of LeBron?" or whatever. Something he went out of his way to so it is like you said, something personal. He went out of his
Yeah,
way
that
to
goes
mention
to
it.
back to Theo's point.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he went out of his way to mention it. So he's barely hanging on in the league. I would think you'd want to make friends as opposed to, let's say, making enemies. He might need LeBron one day when the Lakers are looking to pick up some of those old dudes. He might he might be one of the old dudes they pick up for scoring off the bench, the 12th man. So be nice to LeBron. LeBron might
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I agree with you. Might come get you, right?
come get you. LeBron
Mm-hmm.
notorious for hooking up guys with big checks. Tell him to, see Tristan Thompson for people who get money because of LeBron.
Right.
Man, J.R. Smith.
Yeah, yep. I would be nice to LeBron. So just keeping it with the NBA, this week we had a bunch of players get caught in a scandal. Listen, with the health NBA health insurance. Now this is not uncommon even in real life where people scam the insurance or something to get the extra money, split it with doctors or whoever, and do all this stuff. But I mean, the thing that I found that was telling about this is that for one thing, you nobody well, there were a few guys, but most of those guys or a good portion of those lists have made double digit millions of dollars. So it wasn't like it was a league. I didn't see any league minimum players on that list. You might have had maybe one or two, but you had NBA champions and dudes that's like recognizable on that list. I mean, what do you guys think of that whole situation?
Now, I'm definitely not advocating for guys committing crimes, any of that stuff. But at the same time, if you're gonna attempt to do it, at least try to be thorough about it. And what I mean by that is they had like one guy who he was supposedly getting a dental procedure in California, and then he was playing ball the same day overseas. So you got the FBI or whoever it is looking at his box scores from overseas, wondering how you was getting a procedure in your mouth. I think Big Baby Davis was another guy,
Yeah,
right, who was supposedly getting a procedure in California or something, and they had his flight records where he was flying from Vegas to Paris or something crazy like that. Or so if you're gonna do it, be thorough about it. Again, I'm not advocating for guys to do it at all, um, but that's the part that bugs me out even more. Is it was like nothing thought out about it whatsoever.
I mean, why not go to the dentist? I'm quite sure. I'm quite sure out of 20 guys, them guys, because you was going to the dentist, I'm quite sure that somebody could go to the dentist out
yeah,
of those guys. And then, like when you said, be thorough about it. You know what I'm saying? Like, have a real letterhead in your letters.
yeah,
You know what I'm saying? Have a real letterhead, looking official. But the main guy of that creation is Terrence Williams, who's played for Louisville University, man. He's the guy who
Yeah,
yeah,
came with the scheme. He was a flash in the pan kind of, so to speak, ball player in the NBA. So I can see him stalling for money, so to speak. But Glenn Baby
yeah,
Davis and further guys, I can't. It's kind of hard to see you guys being involved like that. People like Terrence Williams, I could get it.
yeah,
Plus Terrence Williams was charging these guys a percentage for their cut as well. So listen,
yeah.
I got a little scandal going on, man. I get you
yeah,
100,000, but you give me 10% on 100,000.
yeah.
So he was getting cut from 18 different guys, man, including himself, man. So he was doing all right for himself, man.
He's what, Ted? For him, it was worth it. I
Right.
mean, you look at it. I felt you got Big Baby Davis, and then I'm trying to figure out who dragged who in, Tony Allen or Big Baby Davis, because it looked like they had a Celtic connection going on.
Yeah, that's
Think
crazy,
about it.
man.
As I was reading the indictment, they're gonna arrest Tony Allen's wife too, so she was involved.
Hmm.
So yeah, both of them getting arrested, and then
And the
uh,
crazy thing with him is, I think they said once, I guess he must have got wind of it that it was coming. He tried to pay some of the money back because I
yeah,
think he had collected 400,000 or something crazy like that. He paid like 300,000 of the money back, so he didn't even necessarily need the money if he could afford to pay it back.
Right. Yeah.
Almost
So
in
quickly.
full.
Right. Mm-hmm.
and plus, that's not gonna go over good in court either. Like you can't say that you didn't know or didn't defend it, because the first thing I would ask, so if you didn't know, what made you give 300,000 back? Was it a billing error? Oh man, they overbilled 400,000, so I was trying to give them their money back.
Mm-hmm. And let me ask you guys this question. Out of 18 players, how many of those guys are Caucasian?
I
Yeah.
don't think any of them were.
Yeah,
Nope.
yeah, exactly, man. It's disappointing, man. You know, it's
Now,
disappointing,
what
man.
happens with because they had two places in California, I think, and then one in Washington State. What happens with those places? Because I
Oh,
would
Yeah,
they're
you
gonna,
imagine they were getting the fake invoices and stuff from somebody. I don't think
they're gonna
Terrence
lose their
Williams was at
license.
home printing them
Yeah,
up.
they're gonna lose their license or something. The sad thing about it is those guys probably would get something like fines. I don't know if any of those guys gonna get jail time or something. They might, but it's a lot less likely because those will probably be the Caucasians you're talking about right there.
Yeah,
There you go. Right,
Yeah,
exactly.
this is
exactly.
well. I gotta bring up one sad instance. Sebastian Telfair was on the list.
Yeah, that was crazy to me too. I'm like, what? How did he signed up from jail? Like, how did he
Yeah,
even get on the list? Because he's been.
apparently he got a dental appointment where they released him from prison or something, or a doctor's appointment. The man's in jail. Why? How are you even involved in that or something? I don't. I think you know what? Maybe it was. I don't know. Maybe they caught him from before or after, but it just kind of telling because the NBA and the players union negotiate everything, and they sometimes they're together on stuff like this, but you can't get mad for the NBA players union to listen to get upset about this because they're the ones like when they take all of those fees from players and take the money and all that negotiation, the profit sharing, that money goes towards that stuff. That's how they pay like the retired players and all this stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're ripping them off, usually players are allies, but you notice you haven't heard one player speak up for any of these guys because by right, you're kind of ripping off all the players.
Yeah, it's one of those things too where like you feel bad for the players who actually need the services. Like these
Yeah.
guys, I think it started. They said with Terrence Williams, he filed a claim for like 19,000, and they ended up giving him 7,000 and change in cash. So once he seen that, he was like, "Man, 7,000 in cash for basically doing nothing." So imagine the older players, right, who actually need these different services.
See,
There's a lot of old retired players who need help.
Let me ask you a question. How long? I forgot. I'm going to assume it's 5 years without doing research, but how many years? How many years you got to be a pro before you get a pension in the NBA?
three. Only three in the NBA. You got to pay 286 games. Three. That's it.
And Terrence Williams didn't accomplish that coming out
I
of
think. I
college.
think. I think you're right. I think all of them did. Terrence Williams was him just by his
Yeah,
rookie
he
contract.
yeah he was on the Nets for a couple of years, right, and then he kind
He
of
was,
bounced around and
yeah, he
Okay.
was in the league for 6 or 7 years. So
So,
you're right. He did qualify
see,
for a pension.
yeah, he's getting a pension.
Mm-hmm.
Make no sense, man.
No, no.
Get a job. Stop. Don't be embarrassed. Get a job, man. Create a podcast or something, or
Yeah,
work on being a college analyst or something like that. Something, man. You have connections. You know what I'm saying. You play the sport, so work on
yeah, a lot
something,
of these
man.
guys end up like you said, Theo. They have connections, so they end up getting opportunities with the schools to do some type
yeah.
of coaching or something. Or
Right.
Look, Greg. I heard Greg Oden. Greg Oden might be an assistant coach on Ohio State now. I think or something like that.
so
Mm. That'd be
there's
nice.
opportunities for these guys.
Right. Look
Yeah,
at Rasheed Wallace. He's over there with Penny Hardaway at
yeah,
Memphis.
yep. So the sad thing about it is just by playing in the NBA, there's so many. Terrence Williams could have went out right now to whatever state he lives and set up something where he's a trainer, and people would have paid him money just because he played the NBA.
Yeah.
Oh, this
Plus, I
guy
think
played in the NBA.
Terrence Williams is probably one of those guys who made double digits. Like he had to make over at least $10 million over
Yeah,
his
oh
career,
yeah.
I would think, because he was a decent draft pick,
He was he
right?
was he was a top 20 pick, I believe, like
Yeah,
maybe 17 or
yeah, he
18.
was in the teens somewhere, I think.
And he was part of that guaranteed contract era where you guarantee it. Well, he didn't even get the short guarantee. He got the full like 4 year
Yeah,
guarantee,
4 or 5 years or
yeah,
something like
four or
that.
5 years. So you figure it, and it was more than 1 million. So you figure you right. Let's say even he got 4 years for 2 million, 10 million, and we said he bounced around for another six. So I would imagine he probably made on the low end close to
Mm-hmm.
$20 million. And we know some of these other guys. We know how much money Tony Allen made.
Right.
Tony Allen at one point was making like $8 million a season. Big Baby was making 4 to 6 or 8. So it just doesn't add up. It's almost like, I mean, as much as it's not a defense, I might even go in there and just try to claim that I got tricked or duped or what's it more sucked in because first of all, me and you go to the doctor right now, right? And we get anything with him. I don't care what the price is. The doctor ain't refunded no money to us.
Right.
There's no way he's gonna be like, you know what? That procedure we gave, your insurance paid out $400 more. You know what? Here's the money. That's not happening.
Yeah.
So the fact that a doctor would give this fool a $7,000 check, the doctor probably could have been like, you know what? There's more where that came from or something. Whatever. You bring me some people or something, and now granted he'll claim otherwise, but there's no reason at all that anybody gives players back. That's like unheard of. You gonna give the person back or the insurance overpaid, we're gonna give you the money back.
Mm-hmm.
Plus, too, I mean, the NBA's got the insurance to the league. They got to question whoever their insurance people are too, because some of these procedures, like if I'm retired or something, and you want to keep the league going, I mean, as much as everybody complains about insurance, what the hell insurance you got where you can go to Beverly Hills to get $47,000 worth of dental work done on insurance?
Yeah, that part
Like, he got a whole new mouth or something?
Yeah, that's what it costs. For a new mouth is 40 plus thousand. Yeah,
40
that's what it
plus
costs.
thousand, just like everything. You got the full Denzel, the full veneer joint.
Yeah, 50 cent joint. That's
Yeah,
what you got.
And I'm like, damn, they got their insurance. You might as well play in the league just to get insurance for life. You get a $40,000 dental procedure. So it don't make any sense. Like, listen, man, and I would question my insurance carriers too. Like, what the hell insurance we doing? Were we giving out extra money or whatever? Or we not even checking the given price? Because a regular person's insurance, if they called up and told us, listen, this procedure costs this, the insurance is like, nope, we ain't paying that.
Or at least show proof before you pre-approve it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I wonder if that's part of the reason they got caught, where the insurance was like, wait a minute, 7,000, that money was never returned back to me. You know where'd it go?
Yeah,
Once the insurance company started losing all this money, all right, somebody from the insurance company might have got wind to it that, hey, some of this money is not being returned to us, and it looks like it should have.
Right. But you know what? Too, I'm at this. A lot of these outfits, they go to top tier, top of the line dentists, physicians, so to speak. So this is why the price could be so high too. They ain't just going to anybody. They're going to the best of the best out there. Where were they at?
Yeah, and you think about it, you have that, and then I forgot what his name. Great ex NBA player. You remember that story a couple of years back where who was it? Hall of Fame basketball player was a crossing guard. Remember that or something where he?
Oh, you talking about Vin Baker?
No, not Vin Baker. The guy was a crossing guard because he wanted the health insurance or something. It was a top ex NBA player.
Was it Adrian Dantley?
It might have been.
Yeah, one of the things was Vin Baker he worked at a coffee shop, I think it was, until he got hired for Milwaukee Bucks.
Yeah, it was Adrian. You're right. It was Adrian Dantley.
Okay.
Adrian Dantley was a crossing guard because he wanted health insurance, and we got guys out here getting $40,000.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. There's a lot of old heads who could use that. A lot of retired players, older guys who could use that money.
Right.
Yeah, so players can't really support none of that foolishness. You take it plus two, the same players that are not at retirement yet, they're gonna get there too. So they're gonna need these services too. So anytime people taking advantage, it was harder for somebody else.
Yeah, it hurts the agreement to have.
Yeah. So that's one. What's some other news on some football stuff? As the kid, I'm gonna let the Cowboy fans speak on this first. Jalen Smith cut by Dallas. How did you feel about that when it happened?
Well, that's been long coming for. That's been a rumor for the last year and a half, 2 years. His best year with was his first year he played. After that, he kind of regressed on the field. He never was a cover guy. He wasn't college though before injury, but after that he wasn't a cover guy. And sometimes he seems lost out there in the field too, as well. So it really came a numbers game, especially when you draft guys who's coming in out of the draft, and these guys is playing good, like Cox and Parsons, and then you sign free like Kazee and Kurtz, who's playing good, who's playing better than you. And plus, your contract too, saying was a factor too as well. I always thought that the Cowboys pay him too early anyway. You got 4 years to pay somebody. If he's paying pretty good, if he's paying like Diggs, I get it though. You know what I'm saying? But other than that, I wait the 4 years before I do extension or a brand new deal. I'm not giving him a brand new deal year number 2 or 2.5. So they kind of did it to themselves, so to speak. Same with Dak Prescott. When he was hot, you didn't want to pay him.
Yeah.
So now the value of Kubi goes up. Now you're giving Dak 40 mil instead of giving him 30 or 32 mil.
Yeah.
The Cowboys always do it. So financially, Cowboys always do it to themselves. But it was a move that wasn't surprising at all. It was surprising that it happened so early in the season. It could have been done do OTAs. By the time the Cowboys, I guess, wasn't sure what he had as a team. They didn't know about Kurtz, who's free agent, or Kazee, who's free agent from Atlanta, or Cox, the draft pick from LSU. Wasn't sure what he had. So the OTA started, and saying preseason started. Listen, these guys are not only good, but they're better than Jaden Smith. But Jaden's making $9 million a year, and these guys are like gets minimum or above minimum contracts, and they're paying better than him. So it became a numbers game. So, but that being said, I like Jaden Smith. It's a feel good story for when he went through his injury, and I'm glad they're able to recover and sign with another team, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think I have too much more to to add than what Theo just said.
I think part of what Theo's saying, and it makes sense, like as far as the way they paid him. I think it was a chance for Dallas to do like a self correction, because like you did, they paid him too early, so
Mm-hmm.
they gave him the
Yeah,
money. And listen, man, if you think about it, I mean, they paid Cooper, they played Zeke, and listen, man, if you look at the Cowboys, I mean, out of Cooper and Zeke and Dak's always going to be the highest paid, but they're going to have to pay CD Lamb probably more than what they pay Cooper and Zeke.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
to some extent, it makes sense to try to position yourself in a way where there's certain guys on defense. Like I could see in the next 3 or 4 years, Micah Parsons you're gonna have to pay him something.
Yeah.
So why not position yourself now? The only thing is, like you said, the timing is kind of strange, but they did have to evaluate those guys on the field in real action to see where they're at. So to some extent, too, it is people don't want to get cut, but they helped them to some extent because I think that had they would have just sat him down for the rest of the year or did something like that, it probably would have hurt his value because teams would have been like, wait a minute, this guy's on the roster and
Right.
he get to
yeah,
play. So if you can justify it as a salary dump, you see that this guy was picked up immediately.
Mm-hmm. He played today, matter of fact, with Green Bay. He played today. He played a few snaps today
Oh, okay,
against
good.
for Green Bay against they played the Bengals.
Yeah, good. So I mean, he had the potential, like you said. He was if he went, he went like things went a little bit south, but at least he's got an opportunity to prove himself and possibly make some money back. Because I heard there were like 10 teams that was interested in bringing him in, so it wasn't
Yeah,
he
yeah.
didn't
The
have
interest was
suitors.
there.
Yeah,
yeah.
so
I know. He had chose those two. Well, he chose Green Bay over the Reds or the Red. I mean, the Washington football team,
yeah,
and the Carolina Panthers was the other two teams that showed serious interest for sure.
yeah. It's funny. I mean, I think it would have made a really interesting story if he'd have chose Washington. That would have made an interesting story. But I
I
think
think
I
he has
think
some connections with Green Bay, right?
yeah, I think I heard that.
I
I
think
think he
LaFleur or something like that. He has some type of connections over there
yeah.
for Green Bay.
Plus, I'm sure with the how savvy agents are now, there was something that have to do with playing time, and they probably
Mm-hmm.
look over the roster. Like, I mean, I hate to say it, they probably sized up the roster. Like, you go to Washington, Washington's got a pretty competitive front seven.
Right.
So breaking in there and getting playing time and being able to show yourself is a little different. Where Green Bay, not so much.
Yeah,
Carolina, the linebacker has been one of the strong positions they've had for years. So if you're gonna choose, you choose the place where you get to get on the field the most, where you feel like you're gonna get the most snaps and stuff. It could work for you, could work against you, but at least it's on you.
Right.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So bringing it back home, I mean, I'm sure you guys watched the Yankees get eliminated. I mean, I watched that game, and to me, it seemed like that was kind of like, how you watch the season and you watch the game, and the game kind of reflects everything that culminated for the whole season. So the result of the game, I mean, I wasn't surprised. I wasn't surprised, and it kind of went along the lines of how the season went all the way through. I mean,
Yeah,
what you
I would
guys
agree. Cole started, didn't have his best stuff. I think he was out after, was it even 3 innings before he was gone?
yeah,
Um, the offense couldn't really get going. Like you said, I'm not really surprised. I guess where do they go from here? I know Theo mentioned before with Boone, a lot of questionable decisions, throughout the season. Do you keep him? Do you let him walk? I don't know. They got a lot of decisions to make.
Yeah, I'm gonna say a few things, fellas. First of all, for me personally, I felt like whoever had home court advantage was gonna win that game. So if they were playing in New York, New York would win that game. That's where I saw that one game
okay,
elimination. That's where I saw it. So going into the game, I had Boston winning the game based on that. Both teams kind of evenly matched. They go back and forth. You know each other very well. So I gave it to whoever had the home field advantage, which is Boston. So they won it. Yankees had their moments. If they play in New York or any other stadium, Stanton would have had 3 home runs. He would
yeah,
have 3 home
Yeah,
runs.
yeah,
3 home runs. Um, the Aaron Judge being thrown at a home plate.
yeah,
That was a big play.
yeah,
You know, but for some reason, I play baseball. It was my first love. I love baseball.
yeah,
Um, I know when a guy hitting a shot and he can't be caught.
yeah.
There was no reason for a judge to slow down round the second base.
No,
Those few seconds cost him being safe at home. Now
yeah,
people want to blame Phil Nevin for, I guess
waving a minute. Yeah,
we waving him in, but being late to waving him in. But as you can see, he slowed down watching the ball, thinking it's gonna go.
yeah,
First of all, you gotta know where you're playing at with Fenway Park with that big ass green monster,
yeah,
my language, so you gotta know where you're playing at. And that shot was heard so loud through
yeah,
everybody's TV screen. You know damn well that ball was not getting caught.
yeah,
Run full speed from the get go, you probably been safe.
yeah.
And see, I guess the momentum swings after that because the coach for imagine for Boston there's a favor. He took out the pitcher who was doing
Quick
great. He
took
took
them.
him
Yeah,
out. Yeah,
um,
and then what happened? Right, exactly. He took them out. He does a favor. What happened? Stan hits a bomb of the monster. So it's like things.
yeah,
I mean, I think I blame Judge a little more than for Levin as far as the home plate play. But
yeah.
that being said, like I had Boston winning based on they was playing at home. The Yankees wasn't.
I thought that play at the plate was deflating to the team. You could tell
Yes.
that.
yeah,
It was even deflating to the fans watching it. I'm like, oh man. And one thing I look at it too is I mean, they scapegoated Nevin like it was his issue.
Mm-hmm.
Um, they always talk about the Yankees at whole and they scapegoat people for costs and stuff. But if you go back, right, and you look at this season statistically, I don't really think that you could blame this on Stanton or Judge like statistically because those two guys, you look at the roster, the only two guys who really performed. Granted, in the beginning of the season it didn't seem like it, but I look back and I'm looking like, wait a minute, Stanton batted almost 280 with I think over 199 or 100 RBIs and 38 home runs or 40 home runs. And Judge was like almost 290 with the same statistics. So I'm like, wait a minute. And if you look down the rest of the line, what's the next closest hitter? LeMayu at 260 something? So you got an interesting thing too, because now Judge, I don't know, you heard about his posture and where he said he would love to be a Yankee for a life, but it's a business and all this type of stuff. So and he's about due. Are they gonna wait till Judge plays next season or dance around that or give him arbitration and pay him the highest arbitration reward ever or something? So what happens there? Like can you sign Judge to that type of deal? that he's going to want? And would you? Judge is what, 29?
Mm-hmm.
At
He's
29?
getting it.
Yeah,
Are you
he's
giving out a
29.
10-year deal at 29? Unless your name is the San Diego Padres or something.
And yeah, he batted 287, 39 homers, and 98 RBIs.
98 RBIs. And people sitting like, this is a down year. A down year for who?
I think in general, he had a hell of a year still, you know.
Mm.
But in general, I think the hitting numbers were down this season.
Yeah. Look, I
We
mean,
discussed it before. It wasn't too many guys over 300.
No. Look at Stanton's numbers.
So yeah, those guys, as much as especially Stanton takes a lot of heat.
Yeah.
But he certainly wasn't at fault. One guy who I thought was really down this year was Glaber.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I don't know what was going on with him this season. You know, he struggled.
Turned into the catcher. What's his Glaber and the
Sanchez.
He turned into Sanchez. Now here's the scary part, right? And a lot of people don't agree with this one. I have always been a Miguel Andujar fan. Miguel Andujar is the only player in the history of baseball to lead the league in doubles, hit almost 30 home runs, have 100 RBIs, and bat over 300, and the next year get sent down and not have a position on the field.
Mm.
Even when he played this year, he still hit.
And yeah, I get
an opportunity. And their problem was getting base hits. So the guy who led the league in doubles, when we talking about they're a home run hitting team, he can't get on the field because of defense. And how many hours did Glaber have this year?
Yeah, a lot.
Good question. Yeah, so he had his fair share.
So they got to think about managerially too. And then in the middle of the season, I mean, you can bring in Gallo and Rizzo. What was Gallo? What did he bat? 238, 240.
Gallo was awful.
Yeah, exactly.
Gallo was awful. Rizzo was good for us. You know, Rizzo was good for us. Glaber went from hitting 30 plus home runs to hitting 10 this year.
Yeah, 9 home runs.
Yeah, 9 home runs.
RBIs. And not only that is if you're gonna have those type of quote unquote power numbers, he only batted 259.
Yep.
You know, so if you're gonna be
Ozzie Smith with the glove, you better have a glove wizard with those type of numbers these days.
Come on, right? Even DJ LeMahieu, he batted 340 last year. Now this year he's batted 270, 271. He had a down year.
Yeah.
You know, Schürrle is a very sometimes you have to have a guy who's not too good defensively.
Yeah.
Which is Andujar.
Yeah.
Who made it so? But see, his bat makes up for his defensive liability.
Yeah.
So you know, listen, let him play the outfield, you know, or something. Let him play third base, and just leave him there and then deal with the injuries or not injuries, but the errors. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
That come during the season. But his bat is so good, you can work around that. You know.
Yeah.
As he tried to get better playing third base, you know, but
they needed it. They
needed it.
Plus, why not try to like move him around because his bat is so good? Move him around to different positions.
Yeah.
You have him in the outfield from third base. You have him in the outfield.
Yeah.
And then Glaber can't play shortstop, so you got to play him by second base for sure. So now you need a second baseman. You need a catcher because Gary ain't it.
Yeah.
Yeah, he batted 204, Gary.
What happened?
Right.
Remember the young dude that they touted that he was complaining about his playing time, and this year was supposed to be his year. What the hell is his name?
He's probably in the farm.
He's in the
farm system.
That's the dude that kind of remind me of Carrot Top.
Yeah.
Oh, Clint Frazier.
Yeah, Frazier.
Yeah, he flamed out, man. I'm done with him, man. He had too many opportunities, man.
It's like I'm done with him.
He had, as a young kid, you know what I'm saying, he had too many chances to make that squad.
Yeah.
They tried to give him. Actually, they did give him a spot in the outfield, and he couldn't do it. He couldn't do it.
He flamed out because remember before the season they were talking about time. He was complaining. And then they were like, all right, you're up. They didn't even really debate it. Before he started spring training, they guaranteed him that he was there.
Right. Now you're up, and he flamed out.
Yeah. So the Yankees got a lot to think about. I'm just a little upset that they might have lost. A lot of these players probably have lost value. So like, if before even we talking about Andujar, if they would have traded Andujar after that year that he had, they
Yeah,
could have
Right.
got something for him.
yeah.
But now you
Right.
can let him play to build him back up. Remember, Gleyber Torres was supposed to be the world. We couldn't get anything for Gleyber Torres right now.
No, you can't.
Not after
You
this season.
you know who you get in 30 home runs or 9 home runs.
Yeah, I don't even know out of these guys we talking about who would have value to anybody. Like who would a team take and give you something for? Like first of all, I don't think any of these players we named could get you more than a prospect. Like you're not getting no major league level pitching for Gleyber Torres at this point. Not anybody in the top four rotation, or maybe a fifth starter, maybe or something.
You know
But
what's crazy is as we go down the line and we look at these players, and then you look at the payroll. Where's the money going? I know Stanton is getting paid. We know Cole just got a fat contract. I'm
LeMayo
sure
got
their
paid.
payroll is towards the top. Who did they pay? LeMay
LeMayo
got
got
a
paid, but it
decent
was
contract.
reasonable. I wasn't upset with his numbers, like the money they
Right.
gave LeMayo. I thought that was reasonable.
Right.
Um, some of these guys, like
I don't know where the money's going when I look at it. Judge didn't. We just discussed him. He didn't get his payday yet.
no,
So where's all this money going?
I think it's just bad decisions because I know some of these pitchers or something are getting paid decent money. Whatever. I mean, speaking of that, we talk about it. Whatever happened to the dude from Pittsburgh? Remember him? He was what the hell?
Talon,
Yeah,
Talon, yeah, yeah. I think he got hurt.
yeah.
For in the season, he got hurt. The Yankees probably not pitching those. Believe it or not, though, if you think about it, they pitching never really a problem.
It's moving the runners. It's getting time.
Exactly
Yeah,
right.
yeah,
Yeah,
everybody kind of
Yeah,
hit home runs.
yeah.
yeah.
Play. They don't play small ball.
No,
They don't play small ball.
you need somebody to move the runners. You know what's funny about that? When you watch the New York baseball scene of sports teams, that if you look at the Mets, right? The Mets had some of those small ball hitters or something that
Hmm.
actually did it. They had to some extent a lot of the opposite.
Right.
Like you could have probably took like somebody on the Mets, like if Dom Smith say platooned on the Yankees, that would help them because Dom
Hmm.
Smith's an average hitter. He could have came in and got you some base hits and stuff like that. And he's not a high strikeout guy.
Right.
So it's funny that like you said you got like the mix of some the Mets had a bunch of guys who's supposed to be power hitters that flamed out from Conforto to McNeil. These guys they flamed out, but they had some decent they not the best hitters, but they had some decent contact hitters or something. And the Yankees was saying they had some power hitters, and all the rest of the contact hitters flamed out.
Hmm.
So it's interesting. Well, the Mets they got some interesting stuff to think about too. I mean, everybody loves this guy, Cy Young winner or something. But is his health ever going to get him to be able to put together a full season again?
DeGrom never healthy. DeGrom.
Yeah,
And unfortunately, the
and
guy
then
has all the talent in the world. He just
Right.
can't stay on the field.
you
Right.
got Syndergaard coming back. He got a chance to pitch a few innings, so he looks pretty good. But overall, the Mets did those pitchers an injustice too because they were back with that 1-run loss, 2-run loss. So I remember before the season they were talking to Marcus Stroman, and it was
Hmm.
a question of whether he was going to stay, whether they're going to pay him and stuff. I watched like a lot of games, like the Yankees and Mets games, because the regional stuff. And I'm like, wait a minute, this dude's record is like 10-14. But if you look at it, he's got a sub-4 ERA, and out of those 14 losses, 9 of them are by a 1 run.
Right.
So I'm like, how do you evaluate how much you even pay him? Like
Man,
he's subject to lose the Mets and get ripped off because he was playing with a bunch of bums.
Hmm. No run support.
Yeah. So it's tough. It was a tough baseball year for the New York teams.
Yeah. Listen. Believe it or not, I heard you say, but Boston is our daddy. They are.
certainly seems that way.
Yeah, they are. It's been almost 10 years.
I didn't want to see. I didn't as a Yankee fan. I didn't want to see Boston or Tampa Bay.
There we go. No, but for me, it's Boston or Astros.
Yeah, the Astros is
Astros cheat us out of a chip.
You know what's funny? everything that I said last week, it went opposite. Remember, I said, "Hey, wait a minute. I don't want to see. I don't want if the Yankees lose. I don't want to see Houston win. What happened?"
Right.
Then we talked about the Dodgers. Up, I love to see the Cardinals win. So basically, I'm gonna stop talking because all the people that I might want to win, if I mention they're gonna lose, people I don't want to see win.
Right.
I'm like all the feel good stories that you wanted to see, basically getting their behinds kicked, and it's crazy.
Yeah. No Boston and no Astros for me, man.
Yeah, no, I can't do that. Boston, the Astros, neither one of them, and the White Sox. I don't know what's happening with them. They seem to be,
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
They can't win a game.
nope, they kind of falling apart. To their credit, the Dodgers are being the Dodgers. So
Well, Giants is rocking right now.
yeah, well, quietly again, the Giants every 3 or 4 years, the Giants win, and people it goes unnoticed.
Yeah, you say that. You said
yeah,
that.
Yeah, they win, and everybody's like, oh, wait a minute, how did they win? And then they disappear for they go like a mid-range team for 3 or 4 years, come back, they're back in it again. So they got some kind of formula down there that works for them.
Mm-hmm.
Plus, too, as a coach, you definitely keep your job if you go out there, you win the championship, and then you have 2 or 3 down years, start going back up again. So they
Right.
do a good job of staying in it.
good point.
So far this season, looking at the NFL, is there any surprises you guys see or something? Because I know last week we talked a little bit about it. I mean, there's some teams that still, surprise. I mean, from I say a surprise standpoint, a surprise either way, good or bad.
Hmm.
Uh,
Bengals is playing pretty good, man. They should have won today against Green Bay, man. That was a very entertaining game, man.
Yeah.
They I think they are 3-2. They should be 4-1 right now. The Bengals is a nice surprise team. Joe Burrow is playing pretty good. He's
but did
showing
he
improvement.
did he get hurt? Borrow? Because I
No,
think
I
they
don't think he did.
I
No, he
think
played
they
out.
yeah, I thought something with his neck or something. They were talking about
Yeah, he
neck
played it out.
contusion, neck injury or something.
He finished the game. He lost overtime. So I'll say that. New England not doing too good at all without Brady and Gronk.
No.
Yeah,
So,
to
No.
me that was to be expected.
hmm but I mean, like they look real bad. You know what I'm saying? There's something that's called a competitive loss. They're just like, wow, you guys are not looking good at all.
Yeah,
Yeah.
after the game, they said Burrow was taken to a local hospital with some type of throat contusion. I
Okay.
don't even know what that is.
Yeah.
I guess he
Okay.
got.
I thought it was interesting that speaking of New England, that they just bailed on Gilmore like that. I thought that was good for the Panthers picking up Gilmore, but they kind of just like, you know what? Maybe that was a salary shred too.
It seems like it.
Or maybe the injury is more serious than we all know. But than we all know,
Yeah, that could be
could
it
be.
too.
Yeah, because Gilmore, when he's healthy, man, you know what I'm saying? He's a very good football player.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
and they
agreed.
just what did they get for him?
Could
Like a fourth round pick, a fifth round pick? I don't think they got
six
yeah,
round.
sixth round pick. So yeah, that might be more to that than
Mm-hmm.
we know. A 6th round pick for Stephon
Yeah.
Gilmore
Oh,
would have been,
one surprise team would be the Cardinals. I know Theo mentioned them before too.
Yeah. Yes, I did. Yes.
Yeah, so they're undefeated, I think.
Mm-hmm.
yeah. I
So
mean,
yeah,
Looking.
I like that team. I wouldn't have gone into the season. I wouldn't have predicted they would start the season at 5-0.
no, me
They
either.
they look tough.
Yeah, they
Yeah,
got they got pieces in place, man. They got Chandler Jones at the end. Good offense, with AJ Green and Hawkins and quarterback Kyler Murray's the real deal. Nice running game. The kid Connor, who played for the Steelers last year, he's being effective, man. So a good O line. They doing it, man.
Another team for me, I guess that's somewhat of a surprise is Green Bay. Seeing
Mm,
that first game because I think they may be what 4-1 or something like that. Green Bay.
yes.
Seeing that first game, everybody was kind of down on Rodgers after one game. And I might have been a part of it, but to see them bounce back and win 4 straight. Usually Green Bay, though, they're like a great regular season team.
Mm-hmm.
And for whatever reason, they always seem to be in the hunt in the playoffs, but they can't really put it together for some reason.
Hey, I got an interesting team that quietly people don't really see them in that way. They were a lot better than the Chargers.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, yeah,
San
another one.
Diego,
Yeah,
San Diego, they go out and win. And I mean, speaking of rookie quarterbacks, Chicago may have turned the corner. Justin Fields may not be lighting up the world, but if he can just manage the game and keep that defense in it, they
Right.
may be turning the corner too.
Right. I agree with you on both of those two
yeah,
teams.
Yeah, and I think what's funny that the coach of the Bears had to walk back that statement. Remember a week ago he was saying that Andy Dalton was the starting quarterback, and then
mm,
within days later, Andy Dalton wasn't starting for the rest of the season. So
Yeah.
I, that ought to tell you. I will tell you this. I think I'll give you the bonehead player of the season. The bonehead player of the season is the Giants running a running a what's it about? I guess a quarterback option to run against the Cowboys. All of a sudden, Daniel Jones gets hit so hard that he starts wobbling and has to leave on the cart. That may
yeah,
cost him a couple of games because if he's in the concussion protocol and he had to be hit because the guy couldn't even really walk.
yeah. He
They
couldn't
put him
walk.
out on the cart. That's a
I
couple of games. Yeah,
I actually typed that during a game thread on social media. That
yeah,
exact same thing, and it was a giant cowboy thread. I said that, I keep it real. I'm a football fan first before I'm a Cowboy fan.
yeah.
It made no sense
No,
to do
not,
that.
not
You
that.
out Saquon Barkley, you out Shepard and other starters. Don't do that. Hand the ball off to somebody, do a screen. And
Yeah.
but that being said, what I'm saying, I'll tell someone else right now. If we had Jalen, it's a touchdown because Jalen is not running him down.
No, you're right. You're right.
Jabril Cox, the rookie from LSU, who we drafted to replace him, made that
He's
hit
running it
because
down.
right, because he got speed, he could cover, and he's hard, and he the one that hit Daniel Jones, man, and make that stop. But yeah,
Yeah.
the play call was terrible by Jason Garrett, man. I didn't like that play call.
Okay. So I got another question. Forget about the teams. Are there any surprise players? I got a couple of interesting ones that I got a couple of interesting players that may not be surprises, but they always get beat up on. So I'm gonna give them that credit. You got any surprise players this year, good or bad?
Hmm.
Uh, for me, it's so far it might be Brady again. you know, every year Brady surprises me at this point. I think he might have threw 5 touchdowns today, or
Yeah, yeah, I
something
think.
insane. So he surprises me every time he steps out on the field at this point. And I think
I,
he got injured, right? Or he was playing with an injured thumb.
Yeah,
hmm.
So I'm going with Brady.
I don't really have one either way, but I'm gonna pick a player that plays for the Buccaneers. That's on Antonio Brown.
okay,
He
yeah,
he's playing sensational football, man. He got his head right. I guess I don't know if you credit Brady, but he got his head right. He's out of the limelight. He's not on social media, on the news in a negative way. He's just here to play football, and he looking like the Brown for the Pittsburgh Steelers, man. He is rocking, man. He's catching everything, getting touchdowns. He looks explosive, man. Looks involved and happy. So I'm gonna say Antonio Brown, man, is one guy who's just, he found his way back to being his old form.
so I got one that's interesting for guys. So this guy's not a world beater. He's not like crushing, but I'm gonna go with Jameis Winston.
Yeah,
Jameis Winston, they get
nice,
on him, and everybody called him the turnover machine and everything else. And
good
so
one.
far, the games they lost, it hasn't been his fault. He's got 2 interceptions and 8 touchdowns, and he's got the fourth highest QBR in the league right now. So it proves you under the right guidance or the right influence.
There you
You
go.
can be, and I actually think the Saints actually hurt themselves last week when they put this guy in for the gadget play when they try to
Yeah,
fake it.
hell, yeah,
Yeah,
Yeah.
made no sense.
yeah. So I was that's surprising, and then to some extent, like even a guy like, and not a positive necessarily way, other than this Russell Wilson thing, how many times have you heard Aaron Donald's name, or how many times have you heard the guy on the Bears name come up this year?
Yeah, Khalil Mack.
Yeah, you like. I don't know if teams are getting better offensive lines or coming up with better schemes, but they
Yeah, I
not
haven't
hitting
heard
pay dirt
much.
this year. Yeah,
Yeah, I
this
agree with you on that.
this is definitely not the year of the sack. Because think about it, you don't see a lot of guys like I think the sack leaders what at 4 or something, 4 or 5 maybe in 5 games.
Mm-hmm.
Right now nobody's on any type of pace, to break records or do anything. So I think corners are getting torched. we see that corners are getting torched, but
Yeah, as a Jets fan, I've been seeing a lot of it.
yeah, well, right now, if you base stuff off the Jets fan, I think the best pick in the draft was Pittman from Florida because the way he was
Mm.
passes on the Jets today. I mean, I'm like, is that the tight end or the receiver? This dude catching one hand passes, running through. I'm like, I never seen him like. If that's any indication of who he actually is or what he could become, he had a real long, good career ahead of him because that
Yeah.
everything.
Agree.
I'm like, this is rough. Another guy was him. This guy finally started turning it around again. Allen from the Bills. Like he had a couple of games that were kind of like I'm not sure what's going on, but he's starting to turn it around too.
Yeah. Yeah.
Another guy, and I think we mentioned him before, that seems to be turning it around. I always thought he was decent. Was Derek Carr, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, he started pretty strong, Derek Carr.
Yeah, he's second in the league right now, I think, in pass yardage.
Mm-hmm.
So behind Stafford, who's another guy. I always
yeah.
liked him, but Stafford, to see him leading the league in passing yardage so far is impressive too.
Yeah, Stafford up there. I agree with you with Stafford.
I got a guy, a couple of guys. I got a guy. I almost forgot to give him his credit. Justin Herbert.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like him.
Yeah, Justin Herbert was him. He was him. He's a guy that was in that. I guess you know what I think. As a fan of watching football and just seeing, I really didn't want this guy to lose his job. He was the starter on the Tech. Well, before he got hurt, he was the starter on Texans. First, he was on Buffalo. Then he went to San Diego, and then remember he ended up getting. Was it COVID that cost him his job? What's his name? The
Is it
quarterback.
Tyrod Taylor?
Yeah, because remember Tyrod Taylor got hurt and lost that job.
Yeah, somebody gave him
Yeah,
an injection of some kind, and he
Yeah, yeah.
punctured or something.
yeah. One of
Mhm.
the team doctors supposedly
Yeah,
punctured his lung or something crazy.
yeah, man. This has been a wrap. Now it's been the Herbert show.
It's been the Herbert show. So, I mean, you look at Herbert. Herbert's like his 9 touchdowns, fourth in QBR, 1,200 yards passing. I mean, if he'd have lost his job to a fluke, that would be different. But the guy he did lose his job to really can play.
Right,
Yeah, yeah.
exactly.
Yeah. So, and which to Taylor's credit, he always seems to get shots. Like he got, isn't he hurt now? Then he wasn't he named the starter of the Texans, and then he got hurt there too. So
Mm,
yeah, it might
mm.
it might be something going on there.
Yeah, body breaking down.
Yeah, I'm glad to see Jacoby Brissett get another shot too.
Yeah, Miami's awful
Yeah,
though, man. But Jacoby's all right though, man. Jacoby all right. He can make plays, man. But
yeah.
Miami right now, offensively, they can't do much.
No, no, they don't got a lot
Yeah,
going
the
on now.
sack leader right now is Miles Garrett with 6.
Yeah, and probably the next closest guy is what at 4 or something like that.
You got a few guys at 5.
Yeah. Cleveland was well. Cleveland, the only thing holding those guys together is that defense.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I don't know. I mean, what's interesting is people they usually don't double down like this, but Cleveland might have had a good idea by not giving this guy that huge deal. Was what the hell's his name? The quarterback.
Yeah,
They,
Baker Mayfield.
Oh,
yeah, yeah. I think they might have came up with something by not just giving him no $30-40 million deal right off and making him play because. I don't know. Is he the long term answer? Are you giving Baker Mayfield $300 million?
300 million for Baker.
Yeah,
I'm
he
not.
wants one of those. He wants one of those 6 to 10 year deals in the 28 to 30 million plus. Look, you're shaking your head. I know that.
He could get 28, man. Not for 10 years.
He get 28 for 3. Yeah.
28, yeah,
Yeah,
28 mil.
Baker will be somewhere else, man.
Yeah.
He'll be paying somebody else with that demand.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, a lot of these quarterbacks, because of the way the league works and the way the projection of the quarterback position, the Giants going to have to make a decision too. So is Daniel Jones the long-term answer? And if you disagree that, then he's got to get over $25 million too. Because NFL starting quarterbacks make over $25 million for multiple years. You give Daniel Jones a 6-year, $30 million deal?
I don't think Dan Jones is a problem for the Giants.
No, I actually think the one thing I give Daniel Jones is I think he maybe it's because he went to Duke and I might be, but he seems to have his head on right from the neck up. He makes decent decisions. Like Daniel Jones is smart enough to know to take off. Like I'm not gonna stand there and get leveled. Let me get the hell out of here. And plus, he's a lot more athletic than people give him credit for.
Yep, he's fast.
Yeah,
I don't think he's bad, but I don't know if he's a 25 to 30 million dollar player.
I don't know. It's tough because they've been giving out money. I mean, is he? Oh,
Before I do that, I'd rather just go because think about it. What are they 1-3 right now? Granted, it's not all his fault, but before I do that, commit to a guy he's definitely playing a role in there losing. Before I commit to him for 25, 30 million, I just draft another one.
So some of these guys, you look at it. If you pay Daniel Jones or let's say more this guy $28 or $30 million, right? So we're gonna call it the Mahomes scale. He's at 45, so the bar starts there and starts ticking down. Or here's the question: if you pay any of these guys 20 or 30, 28, 30 million, how much money are you paying Lamar Jackson and Kyler Murray? What are they getting?
Yeah, 50 million per.
Yeah, exactly.
Daniel Jones is getting 30.
Daniel Jones getting 30. Lamar Jackson just got 10 for 500 or something crazy like that. $500 million or something.
Yeah. Well, Lamar can't get more than Pat Mahomes. That's for sure.
No, he can't get more than Mahomes. But there's some thinking that people are saying that if in a year or two, Kyler Murray might be able to get more than Pat Mahomes.
Well, he's trending upward, that's for sure. But he gotta get a chip.
Yeah.
You get that chip, then you be at Mahomes level.
Yeah. So these prices, they're not gonna get any lower.
Before I give Daniel Jones $30 million, I throw some money at Aaron Rodgers for a couple of years, 2 years.
I'm hoping
the Giants. Why not?
hoping that the Jets decide to roll back on this dude, let him sit for a season.
Wilson?
Yeah. I mean, some of these guys are crazy. Like, I still don't understand. I mean, I think Cam Newton must have burnt some bridges or something because nobody's giving him a shot.
I understand that.
And there's teams that could use a backup or even possibly a starter. They're not even checking for him. So
yeah, he must have got caught at a Colin Kaepernick event or something. Hanging out with Colin Kaepernick.
If Cam comes out and say he wanted to be a backup, I'm quite sure he gets some interest.
Yeah, that's a good point. I'm sure he could get a backup job.
Yeah, for sure. But I don't think teams feel that he wants to be a backup.
Yeah, good point.
That's true. Hey, so now we're gonna go to the segment. Theo's got some good stuff for us or something. What we got this week, Theo?
I got 2 questions. I'm actually asking 2 homies real quick before we do our thing. There's one called start, bench, cut.
Okay.
It's basketball. They're both basketball because NBA is here, so all 3 of us are basketball fans. So this one is called start, bench, cut. And it's 2 guards. Okay. Mitch Richmond, Latrell Sprewell, Allen Houston.
So I'm actually going to start. I'm a Knicks fan, right? So I'm a little biased there. I'm going to start Allen Houston.
Oh, wow.
I'm probably going to bench Sprewell. Mitch Richmond was the man, but I never was too crazy about his game. Again, probably just me being biased, but I wasn't a huge Mitch Richmond fan, even though he was productive. So I'm going to cut Mitch Richmond.
So the crazy thing is me and you are almost the exact opposite. I'm starting Mitch Richmond. I think I'm I'm on the fence because you know what? I'm gonna have to bench Latrell because I still got Golden State Latrell in my mind, not so much the
Mm-hmm.
Knicks Latrell, and I'm
Mm-hmm.
gonna cut Allen Houston. So it's
Mm.
literally the opposite.
Yeah, the opposite.
Yeah, I love Mitch Richmond though, man. He listen, Golden State years was incredible, man. And
Yeah,
even when he played for the Kings,
yeah,
he was great.
TMC,
Yeah,
yeah.
man. Yeah,
TMC era.
yeah. And I'm undecided, I'm biased over Mitch, but I'm undecided on Spiro out of Houston. I like Spiro's heart and
Yeah,
grittiness, and I love Houston's just jump shots are so wet, man. You know what I'm saying?
yeah.
He can make those shots. Um, I'll probably cut Sprewell, man. Believe it or not,
Okay.
it hurts me to say that, man. Based on the jump shooting ability of Allen Houston, so I would start Mitch, bench Allen Houston, and I would cut Sprewell, even though I wish I can't cut him.
You want to throw a twist in there? I cut Spreewell if PJ Carlissimo's the coach.
Oh yeah, yeah, that for sure. He gotta go. PJ's there, he gotta go.
He gotta
Without
go.
question. The PJ's there, he gotta go. So that's what's up with that. Um, Second last one I got for you guys. It's just called which duo would you build around?
Okay.
So is everybody in their prime? Yeah, everybody in their prime, they healthy. And you got a 5-year run. So it's your 5-year run. Everybody in their prime. It's 4 duos, NBA.
Okay.
Uh, Penny and Kevin Durant,
Okay.
T Mac, Kevin Garnett, Larry Bird, Akeem Olajuwon, or Kobe Bryant, Isaiah Thomas from Detroit Pistons.
Ooh.
You had me when you said Penny. I've always been a huge
Yeah.
Penny fan.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
So I'm going with Penny. Penny and
Okay.
Katie.
Okay.
I mean, I have Penny and KD in mind too. Which I was really thinking about it, but just to think about it, I mean, I want to say Penny and KD, but Bird, what was it? Bird and Olajuwon?
Yeah.
Larry Bird and Olajuwon. I mean,
Yeah.
yeah, I might have to go with Bird and Olajuwon. Like you talking about, might be 1-1 in the positions of all time.
Time. Right,
Best
right,
and the
right.
best four. Because I'm gonna tell you something interesting with Bird that I have debates with people all the time. If you strip the names out, right, and you put the career statistics right next to each other, Larry Bird's got better numbers than LeBron.
Mm.
You don't realize that Larry Bird averaged the same points, more rebounds, and LeBron averaged more assists. So it's
Right.
like LeBron's at 6.8, Larry Bird's 4 assists, but Larry Bird quietly averaged almost 10 rebounds a game and 30 points.
Wow.
Larry Bird was that dude.
Yeah, he was. He
Yeah.
was. Without question. Without question.
So it's tough, man.
Yeah, it's time. I mean, any four duo would be great to build around.
Yeah,
Yeah, Penny and Durant, it just sounds sickening to have those two
yeah,
guys playing together.
yeah.
Listen, let me tell you something, man. Tracy McGrady doesn't get his due, man.
No,
Tracy McGrady was a bad dude,
yeah,
man.
Yeah.
He was unguardable, and Kobe Bryant said himself, he's unguardable,
yeah,
man. He don't get his due, man. He could do everything. And this guy was showing 30-footers way back, put on
yeah,
top of the key, all that. He could do everything, man. Explosive. Garnett in Minnesota was outstanding, man.
yeah.
But you know what? I'm gonna go with Kobe Bryant and Isaiah Thomas, man.
Oh
That
wow,
backcourt right there is tough. Those guys could finish. Those guys play defense. They can take over games. And those two guys playing together, man, with their mind state, man. And plus, it's a spot where you kind of control the game, so to speak.
yeah,
I think Isaiah Thomas defensively could do his thing as well as play offense, but something about these two guys are kind of silly. They're both killers, man.
they might.
They're both killers, man. I'm gonna take Kobe Bryant and Isaiah Thomas because just a backcourt is hard to find, man. A good backcourt is hard to find.
The only thing about that is they might beat each other up because I don't know how Isaiah's gonna feel about Kobe taking all them shots.
Possible though. That's possible. That's possible.
Yeah,
But you know what? I'll take a chance on it though, and as well, I'll try it though. They'll make it work. They'll make
I
it
think
work.
any one of those groups will be, I mean, hard pressed to pass on.
Yeah, exactly,
So,
As long as Kobe didn't have like a dream team jersey on or something in front of us,
Yeah, yeah.
you know.
No Kobe or Smush Parker, man. Don't worry about that. We can't do that.
No,
you want to hear?
Isaiah.
You want to hear a tidbit? Listen, you know that Smush Parker is now refereeing games in the city, refereeing basketball games, his games.
Really?
And,
Yep.
and that's a good thing, right? Because you
Yeah,
think
that's good.
Smush Parker, he could have easily been on that 18-man list, right? Of former NBA players caught up in that, but
Right.
the guy put his pride aside, it sounds like, and just got a job.
Yeah, ain't nothing wrong with that. And who say he don't have no money stashed away?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
It might be. I remember you remember he's pretty old. Listen, he's a point guard on Indiana. You remember Haywood, the boss in the
Yeah.
And he's pretty good, man.
he
hard nose.
You know what's funny? He made a bad call against the Knicks, man, a couple years ago. I remember him, man. I forgot who played up. I remember he made a bad call, man, against us, man.
And the crazy thing about it, he's one of the only ex-players to make it to be all the way an NBA ref.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, he's good though. He's good. I can't lie. I follow him on the court, man. I noticed him, man. He makes good calls, man.
Yeah. But again, guys, thanks for tuning in, everybody. Thanks for talking. Love talking to you guys about that. Listen, let's get some final words. What do we got for this week?
Again, NBA basketball is slowly creeping up on us. So far, my Knicks look good in the preseason.
Yes.
Tibbs is already burning people out. Got him playing in the preseason. I love it. Let's go Knicks.
I got two things. Stop throwing the ball to Trevon Diggs side of the field. He's the real deal. You're gonna learn the hard way. So don't do it to yourselves. And listen, man, the state of Alabama, man, had a bad week, man.
Oh yeah. Ooh.
The homegrown Dante Wilder, he gets knocked out cold. And Bama look very suspect and look very beatable right now. And it may not make the national championship game come next year, man. Don't look like it, man.
Unranked team lost to an unranked team.
And the unranked team, man. And I watched that game, man. They were moving the ball out. I won't say out well though, but they didn't have no issues moving the ball, man. They were moving the ball when they had to, man, so to speak. They were moving the ball on Bama. So up a year, Bama. It could be a down year for all these Bama fans.
For me, I got a couple of things. The Oklahoma game was phenomenal. Oklahoma,
yes.
Whatever. I mean, for one thing, I mean, if I'm the coach, as much as you love to stick by kids or something, I don't know if Spencer Rattler is going to be the starter.
No, he can't do it.
It feels like I can't do it.
I watched that whole game. That was a great game.
Yeah. So, I mean, as soon as Rattler came out, it seemed like it changed like a lot for them. So I think Spencer Rattler might have got his last starting opportunity there. But that was a phenomenal game to watch. And you know what? Even though State of Alabama, let's give boxing his credit. For a night, boxing actually entertained us because usually we get out there and we get really disappointed. We see guys eat quick, guys not fight, and it's lopsided or something. So I think it was a good night for boxing in a sense, the competitive nature of boxing and for viewership. So I think it was just an overall good night for them. Great night for Fury, good night for boxing.
Agreed.
Yeah. But again, thank you guys, man. Appreciate it. Till next week.
Yes, sir. Enjoy, fellas.
All right. Later.